Well, hello and welcome to the channel. Today you join me on a glorious summer day in the Scottish Highlands. We are on the A87 and we are heading southwards. I've just completed a couple of days tour, touring around the Highlands of Scotland. I spent a night up at Sheerlake Bay, or Shagra Bay should I say. I do apologise, my pronunciation isn't brilliant. Yes, Shagra Bay. A spot of wild camping in a little cove, so if you haven't seen that video, take a look. It is up on the channel now. I also took a little ride on a few roads around Skye to show everybody what Skye has to offer. I didn't do the whole island, that will be for another video. So now you join me on the trip heading home. Now normally I don't video trips going home, the last leg. I just like to chill out and enjoy the last little bit of the tour all to myself. But today the weather's just so stunning and the countryside is just so amazing. Amazing roads. I've made an exception, and I thought I'd do a little video and show you what it's like in the Highlands of Scotland. So we're on the A87, as I've already said, and sit back, relax and enjoy the trip. So at the moment we are really blessed with good weather. If you can get good weather off season in Scotland, it is an amazing time to go touring, because although this road is quite busy because it's a major trunk road, the rest of the roads are just deserted. And Scotland, when you've got the weather, even early doors, you know, really early in the season, the scenery is just amazing, and it just makes it so enjoyable when you've got good weather like this. You know, so if you're in a situation where you can just go at a drop of a hat, then I highly recommend either really early season or really late season. If you see a window, you know, of a couple of days or a week where the weather's going to be with you, then definitely make the effort to come up here, because it is absolutely amazing. I mean, just look at it, people. It is fantastic. However, I can't sugarcoat it. You always run the risk, if you come this early or if you go late in the season, of hitting bad weather. And believe me, when it rains, it rains. The weather can be atrocious, and it's not just the rain, it's the crosswinds as well. It can be absolutely appalling. I did a tour, I think it's on my channel, it was the Kyla Lockhouse tour, and I did that, I think it was late season that I did that, sort of September, end of September, beginning of October, and it absolutely threw it down. It was that bad that one of the major A roads, one of the trunk roads that run across the side of the mountain, it just got washed away. There was a landslide and it washed the road away. That's how bad it was. It was like horizontal rain for 2 days. But you know, if you've got the correct gear, you can still enjoy it. For me personally, I don't mind rain, it's the wind that I don't like. You know, some of these crosswinds. I did another tour where I came through the Pass of Cattle, the Ballot and the Bar. It's on the North Coast 500, and that was high season. There were other things that went on, I'm not going to go into, just watch the video. It's on the channel now. but the crosswinds, oh, I've never experienced anything like it. How I managed to keep the bike upright, I will never ever know. And I just don't find it enjoyable riding in high winds, so that is one thing that I do try to avoid. And obviously the other risk up here is ice and snow. Even where I live in the Scottish borders, earlier in the year, I went out for a ride on my bike, and it was just a nightmare, because although where the sun had come out, it had melted the ice and the roads weren't too bad. Every time you went into a hollow or you went into a shady piece of road, it was just solid thick black ice. It was, I totally regretted going out, it spoiled the trip. So I didn't get very far that day, I just turned around and went back. It's not so bad if you can get out and you live in an area where you've got mainly main roads that are well gritted, well sorted. But where I live out in the countryside in the middle of nowhere on a farm, so just to get to a main road, it's a major issue in winter time. So I have to be very selective of when I actually ride the bike in winter. Oh, look at this little place. I wonder what they do here, whether this is some sort of outward bounds place or a hotel. Yeah, it looks like it. The Cluani L Inn. Oh, I'm terrible at pronouncing these names. Well, as I've said, I'm just heading back after having a couple of days touring in the Highlands, and I can't tell you just how much I have enjoyed it. It has been an absolute pleasure. Wow, look at that. It's certainly good for the soul. I feel really refreshed now. I don't want to I work, for those of you who don't know, not regulars to the channel, I do work overseas in the Middle East. I work in very nice places, but I am refreshed, and although I don't want to go back, I am now ready for the next onslaught of working over in the Middle East for 2 months. And a big part of that is I've been able to get out on the bike and just recharge the batteries and relax, chill out. This morning I was riding around Skye, and oh, believe me, I was so tempted just to stay and do another day. I told my wife when I set out that I was only going to be away for one night. That turned into 2 nights, and I was thinking, should I push my luck and do 3 nights? And I thought, no, I hadn't better, it's pushing my luck a little bit. And about just after lunchtime, my wife texted me and said, you can stay another night if you want, I don't mind. And I thought, oh, I'd already set off for home by that point, so I was tempted to turn around and go back, but I didn't. Not only that, I've got to have the bike back in for a recall on the rear shocker to recall by Benelli. So I've got to get back and prepare the bike, give it a good clean, ready to take that in for the work to be carried out. Well guys, I'm sorry, but no fancy Insta360 footage today. As I said, I'm on a return leg from my previous tour, and I had packed all the cameras away. And to be honest, I can't be bothered to go rooting through my bag to find a camera and set it all up and everything. So we're just down to the one view of the GoPro today. So I have asked this before on one of my previous videos, what do you guys think of the Insta360 footage? I'll put a little clip up now from yesterday's riding or this morning's riding to show you the type of footage that I'm on about if you don't know what I mean by Insta360. So this footage here was filmed, and I can zoom the camera around and get all different interesting angles. What do you think, guys? Do you like that kind of footage, or do you just prefer the rider's view sitting on the bike? I will be honest with you, it is quite a bit of hard work in the editing department. It does have quite a bit of time on when I'm using the Insta360 footage, because it's not as simple as editing the GoPro. I'll tell you what, the view behind us, oh my word, snow-capped mountains, absolutely beautiful. But I mean, I'm not complaining about the view in front of us either, you know. And if you're all wondering why I'm doddering around at 53, 55 mile an hour, it's not my age, you know. I'm not that old that I have to drive at this speed. It's just that I've noticed that when I get my foot down and do higher speeds, I'm having problems with the mic. It tends to cut out, and I've lost a lot of footage for it on my last couple of days tour, so that's why I'm keeping the speed down. And obviously I am a law-abiding citizen, and I never ever broke the speed limit. Another thing, guys, I'd like to ask, I've just seen this road that I'm on, just brings back some memories from a previous trip I did when I was heading up to Highlands. I came along this road going the opposite direction, obviously, and you know, when I was talking about the wind and rain, the weather can change within literally a couple of minutes. And I just pulled over to have a quick coffee in one of these lay-bys on the side of the road, and just within 2 minutes getting back on the bike, you could see the weather coming in, and it totally spoiled the last leg going into Skye. By the time I got to Highlands, you couldn't even see the bridge getting over to Skye. So it just shows how changeable the weather is here, and how fast it can change and become quite unpredictable. But anyway, I digress. What I was going to ask is, what do you guys think of the channel? I'm most probably letting myself in for a load of abuse here, but here we go. So what do you think of the channel? You know, do you like the content I'm putting up there? Has anybody got any constructive criticism, any way that I can improve the channel? Because that's my aim, you know, to have the best channel that I can do with my skill set and my level of skill, and just make it as most enjoyable as possible for everybody out there who's watching. I know recently I had a lot of videos on where they were just sort of reviews, they weren't actually going out and touring, but that was just due to the time of year. The weather was absolutely diabolical, and I was also pushed for time. I was getting ready. I'd only got a couple of weeks before I was due to go back over to the Middle East, so I had to do some videos that I could film quickly and edit quickly, so that I had footage for the time I was over in the Middle East. But obviously now that summer's coming, I'm guessing that you want to see more of these touring type of videos. I would like to do some more bike reviews. Again, I've touched on this in the past, it's difficult for me where I live. I've got no real main dealers or anything that I can go to get bikes and test, because I live out in the middle of nowhere. However, I am planning on buying a new bike this year, so I will be testing some. I hope to test the new Africa Twin, the 1100, the Adventure Sport version. I also intend to test the brand new Tiger 1200 that they've just brought out. Those are two bikes that I am considering, and most probably also the BMW K1600 GTL. I'm also considering that. And then on top of that, I don't know if anybody watched the March update video where I touched on this, but I am also thinking of buying a trike. Yeah, I know they're not proper bikes, but not like the Honda Goldwing trike, but one of these Can-Am trikes. I touched on it in my March video. We would get a lot of use out of a bike like that. As I've already mentioned, where I live in winter time, the roads are atrocious. So if I had one of those three-wheelers, it would keep me on the road throughout the whole of winter. I wouldn't have to worry as much about the ice as being on two wheels. And secondly, I really want to go touring abroad, but I want to take my wife over on her bike as well. At the moment she just doesn't have the confidence to go abroad on a bike. I don't know why, because I think she'd handle it no problem whatsoever, but she just does not want to do it because she hasn't got the confidence of riding on foreign roads. Whereas if we had one of these Can-Ams, I think she'd be okay. I think it would inspire her to go and come touring abroad with me. So I know they're not proper motorbikes, but it's horses for courses, guys, isn't it? You know, I would get a lot of use out of one of these Can-Am trikes. And I don't have a car anymore because I just don't use them. You know, for most of the year I'm abroad working, so the only time that I would use a car is in the winter time when there's ice on the road and I can't ride my bike. And I might only be home for, you know, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks throughout winter when that's actually the case. So, you know, for me to have a car and all the costs of keeping it on the road just for using it 3 or 4 weeks out of the year, it just doesn't make sense. So both my cars have gone now. I got rid of them. My wife still has her car, obviously, because she works full time in this country, but you know, when she's at work, I've got no other transport other than my bikes. So again, you know, that's another reason for looking at one of these Can-Ams. But obviously that will impact what other bike I can buy, because at the moment I'm looking at buying a brand new bike. So as I said, either the brand new Tiger 1200, the brand new Honda Africa Twin, or the BMW 16K GTL. So, you know, some of those bags, you know, when you spec them up, you're not going to get much change at 20 grand or perhaps even a little bit more. So if I bought a Can-Am, what I would do is I would buy a second-hand Can-Am and I would buy a second-hand bike. You know, still spend the same amount of money, around about 20 grand or a little bit more, but get two bikes so I get the best of both worlds. So I don't know, but either way I can see some test rides coming up, so keep your eyes peeled for later on in the year on the channel. I should have some test rides of brand new bikes coming up. Oh my word, guys, just look at the countryside here. Absolutely just stunning. You know, on my videos I say it all the time, you must get sick of me saying that. Absolutely stunning. Should have it tattooed on my forehead, I say it that many times, but you know, what else can you say to describe this countryside? It is just absolutely amazing. Look at it. Well, once again, I never planned to come this way. When I was on Sky, I just put my hometown in and the sat-nav and pressed go. It was pot luck which route it was going to take me. I thought it may have taken me down the A9, but I'm glad to say that it hasn't. I came up the A9 and I hate that road. It's such a boring road. This is much better. Every time you come over a hill or come around a bend, you're just holding your breath to see what's on the other side. There's BJ and the Bear. Oh my word, how old am I? Can everybody remember that programme, BJ and the Bear? About that American lorry driver, and he had a monkey called Bear. He had a bit, I think it was a Mack, his truck, a big red Mack with a white stripe at the side, like the old Starsky and Hutch car. That Gran Torino car they had. I'm getting old. I'm getting so old. The years fly by so fast, I can't believe it. But I am turning into a real old grump, you know what I mean? Because when I look back, and I look back on all the TV programmes and everything, I always think, oh yeah, TV was loads better then. We had loads better music, we had loads better films and TV shows. I am just turning into a miserable geriatric. Okay guys, I hope you are enjoying this wee little trip out in the Scottish Highlands. All I can say is, to be continued.